What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome into NYJ Today. In this video, we are going to be wrapping up the free agency profile series on my channel with a 10th and final video that is going to give my predictions of what the New York Jets will do for free agency, which is coming up in just a few days now. I couldn't be more fired up about this video and the fact that free agency is coming up. Let's go ahead and get after it. All right, and one last time before I go through the list, I just want to make sure I reiterate to you that this is not necessarily the list of players that I would be targeting. It's just the list of players that I think that Joe Douglas will be targeting. So just please keep that in mind. If you do disagree with the list, just hit me in the comments, guys, and let me know what you think. All right, the first player on my list of predictions for free agency is going to be Kean ONeal of the 49ers. He is a fullback. He is a very versatile fullback. He can block. He can also get out in the receiving game and make plays after the catch. He's actually quite good with the ball in his hands. And I think that we need a fullback. For this offense to be successful, we need somebody that can actually do a little bit of everything, a versatile player at the fullback position, somebody that can make plays also. It won't hurt the quarterback to be able to dump these little flat passes to the fullback, especially in the play action game. So I see Kean ONeal as not only wanting to be a part of the Jets because of the scheme, but also because of the need. They're going to need to pay him adequately, and for the past 4 seasons, he's been making approximately, on average, about $5 million per year. So I'm going to go ahead and give him a 2-year deal for the New York Jets worth about $8 to $9 million. I think that would get the job done, and I think that he offers quite a bit of experience and, like I said, versatility to the offense. So that's my first signing for the New York Jets. The next player on my list, and again, it's another player that was not one of my free agent profiles. Again, this is not a move that I would necessarily make, but this is a move that I think that Joe Douglas will be interested in making. And so I have the New York Jets signing Corey Davis, wide receiver from the Tennessee Titans. This is a guy who's still very young. He's going to be 27 years old this coming season. He's big, he's fast, and he kind of fits that mold that Joe Douglas likes in his receivers. He kind of reminds me of like a Denzel Mims. And I think that what you can do now is if you sign a Corey Davis, you're able to line up Denzel Mims and Corey Davis on the outside and then have Jamison Crowder playing the slot exclusively. And I think that that actually does make a lot of sense. And I think that this guy, you can sign him on a pretty team-friendly deal here. I don't think that it's going to break the bank to sign a Corey Davis. There's just too many other wide receivers right now that are going to hit free agency for him to be paid like a number 1 wide receiver. So I'm going to go ahead and give him a 2-year deal worth about $20 million. Maybe you can push it a little bit more and he might get $22 million, but nothing much more than that. And again, I think that this is a guy that Joe Douglas is going to be very, very interested in. The next free agent that I think Joe Douglas will be targeting and signing is going to be safety Kean ONeal from the Atlanta Falcons. When you factor in the fact that he played for Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator for the Falcons last year, when you factor in that he played with Marcus May at Florida during college, and when you consider the fact that he is a fantastic complement to what Marcus May brings to the secondary, I just think that this signing makes way too much sense. And I don't think it's going to break the bank. I think, again, we're looking at Joe Douglas signings right now, not signings that I would necessarily be making. And I think that Joe Douglas is going to feel good about bringing in somebody who's going to be only 27 years old this coming season. He played a full season, or pretty much a full season last year, and he's highly, highly productive on the defensive side of the football. He's going to make lots of tackles. He's going to get the ball out of the receiver's hands by either forcing incompletions or fumbles. He hits like a truck, and so he's going to bring an identity to this defense, and I think Joe Douglas is going to really be interested in bringing in Kean ONeal, And I kind of think back to the deal that he gave to Brian Poole last offseason. He gave him a 1-year deal, $5 million contract. I don't think Kean ONeal is going to go that cheap, but I am willing to say I think this is going to be a 1-year deal, and I think it's going to be about $7 to $7.5 million. I think Kean ONeal is going to want to hit free agency one more time before he turns 30 years old. And so if he plays this 1-year deal with the Jets, he'll be entering free agency yet again at 28. And I think that's the idea, is the situation that we're going to be looking at with Kean ONeal. The next player on this free agency predictions video is going to be cornerback Richard Sherman from the San Francisco 49ers. So a couple of factors here. Richard Sherman was injured last year, so that is something to keep in mind. Richard Sherman is also 33 years old, I'm pretty sure, and so his age, his injuries do factor in here. But I don't think he's going to get anything more than a 1-year deal with any team, regardless of who he goes to. I do think that he would love to play for Robert Saleh yet again, and I also think that starting matters to Richard Sherman. He's going to want to go to a team, and he's going to want to play. I don't see Richard Sherman being the kind of guy that's going to want to sit on the bench. So that does factor in here. And so what you're looking at here is you're signing Richard Sherman to be a 1-year stopgap kind of player. He's going to probably start alongside Bryce Hall, and I think that's a good starting pair. I mean, not the best by any means, and I think that you could certainly do worse than Richard Sherman. And worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out, you're looking at a guy who can definitely mentor and coach and kind of be that coach on the field for the defense. He has the experience with Robert Saleh just literally as of last year. So I feel like this move makes a lot of sense in the fact that he can be a starter for this year and also help to bring the defensive players along and teach them the new scheme that they're going to be running in 2021. I would say probably anywhere from a 1-year deal worth upwards of probably $8 to $9 million. I don't think he's going to come cheap, and that's something that does worry me a little bit with this move. But a lot of fans are in favor of it, and I do agree that there's a lot of benefits to making this move. And the final player that we're going to be talking about in this free agency predictions video is going to be defensive end Yannick Ngakoue from the Baltimore Ravens, Minnesota Vikings, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. He did play for 3 teams in the last 2 seasons, so that is a concern with Yannick Ngakoue. But I was completely blown away by looking at all of the statistics, his game tape. This guy is a all-gas, no-brakes defensive end. We have a need at the position. We only have Bryce Huff, and we also have Jabari Zuniga. And honestly, they are pretty much question marks. They do show some upside, but they're young, and we need a veteran at the position. And I think that this is going to be Joe Douglas's big signing for the offseason. I don't think that he's going to be spending a bunch of money in free agency, or at least not going to be giving out long-term contracts to a bunch of players. We will get into that after this segment, but Yannick Ngakoue brings too much and offers too much to this defense to pass up. He has experience playing under Robert Saleh. He fills such a huge need. He's only going to be 26 years old this coming season, and I just think that it provides our defensive line a good rotation with young players, and we will have pass rushers at the defensive end position, at both of the interior defensive line positions. So I just love this move. I hope that the Jets do sign him. He is definitely probably right up there with my number 1 or number 2 players on my wish list. So we're going to get into next is the players that did not make this list. So players that did not make this list, and it breaks my heart to say it, but wide receiver Curtis Samuel, he's right up there with Yannick Ngakoue. I think that Curtis Samuel would bring so much versatility, explosiveness, and just big play opportunities waiting to happen. And I just don't know if Joe Douglas is willing to spend that kind of money to bring in a wide receiver. And that goes for all of the wide receivers. I think Allen Robinson's going to wind up costing too much money. And again, Joe Douglas will not be willing to pay that price. Guys like Kenny Golladay, it's the same type of thing. I just don't see Joe Douglas making that move. As much as I want Curtis Samuel, I just don't see it being in the cards. So another player or position that we did not address in this free agency predictions video is the guard / interior offensive lineman position. So we all know it's a huge need at guard, and I do think that the Jets will sign somebody. I'm just not sure of who it will be. It'll probably be somebody that is kind of like a Alex Lewis or a Greg Van Roten kind of player. It's going to be a backup kind of feel to it. And I don't think that Joe Douglas is going to be willing to spend the big money on a Joe Thuney or a Brandon Scherf or a Corey Linsley. You know, I could be completely way wrong on this, but I just don't see Joe Douglas doing that. What I do see Joe Douglas doing is trying to fill some of the other needs on the team, and then maybe bringing in some drafted players. So like a Wyatt Davis from Ohio State, you know, that 23 overall pick would be a great spot for him. And I just think that Joe Douglas wants to build an offensive line for the future. He's not just looking to, you know, sign guys and give them these huge contracts to fill the positions long term. I see that Joe Douglas sees free agency more as a way to fill in or round out the roster and then use the draft to truly build your team and your roster. So if you're asking me, I don't see it likely that he brings in one of these big fish at the guard position or at the center position with Corey Linsley. I know that that's going to upset some of you, so if it does upset you, please let me know in the comments. That's actually what I love the most, is after I post these videos, I love reading what you guys have to say. So if you completely disagree with not only the list, but also the fact that Joe Douglas is ignoring the guard position in free agency, I just want you guys to let me know what you think is actually going to happen. Because, you know, this is just a predictions video. This is not what actually is happening, so let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear it, and I would love to read it. That's going to do it for this video and for the free agency profiles series. I am so fired up about free agency, guys. It is getting me so excited to be able to finally see what Joe Douglas does this offseason. Is going to bring a lot of enthusiasm and excitement to the franchise and to the Jets fans as well. So please let me know what you guys think about free agency, about my predictions for what Joe Douglas will do. Hit me with your list of what you think Joe Douglas will do as well in the comments. If you could all do me a big favor and jet up the like button on this video. And if you could do me a big favor, if you're new here and you've enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The free agency profiles are over, but now I am going to be switching gears. We're going to be posting free agency signing reaction videos. We're going to be posting videos about draft players or players that are coming out in the draft. So there's going to be more draft profiles coming out on the channel. I hope you guys are excited, and I hope you stay tuned. Go Jets, and I'll see you guys next time.